Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Heart Next Door podcast. Today, we have a powerhouse guest for you. She's an incredible in every way. She has been such a great mentor to me. She's also an incredible mom, a fearless leader, fearless speaker. I'm so excited to welcome Marta Spirk. How are you?
I am great. Thank you so much for having me and for all the kind words. It's been so great to know you and also know the amazing work you're doing for moms out there. I'm very grateful.
Of course, yes. So I'm going to read your bio and then we'll hop in. Okay, Marta Spirk is a triplet mom and a speaking coach, TEDx speaker, best-selling author, and professional singer who helps women entrepreneurs turn their story into powerful revenue-generating signature talks. She supports her clients in clarifying their message, delivering it with confidence, and leveraging speaking as a strategic income stream on stages, podcasts, and within their business. Through her coaching programs, keynotes, podcasts, and award-winning book, The Empowered Woman, The Ultimate Roadmap to Business Success, Marta blends storytelling, thought leadership, and practical speaking strategy so women can be seen, heard, and paid for their voice. What a great mission. Yeah, wow, so beautiful. And so I'm curious, Marta, when did you first realize your voice was not just a personal gift, but a true business asset?
I think I don't know if there was an actual moment that I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. A lot of it was my desire to build a different identity after I had kids. Because I've been working with my voice for the longest time. I started teaching English. I'm from Brazil originally, and loved English, and to the point where my friends would ask me for help when they were studying for tests and things like that. So I started tutoring and getting paid for it when I was 14.
Wow.
And at around the same time, I was also singing in church. My mom's a pastor down there. So I was always using my voice in some capacity. It got to a point where I became the official interpreter for large conferences. So I was doing a lot in the languages department, but it had to do with voice, Yeah. But then once I had kids, which, with having kids, period, it's the moment where it kind of throws everything around and you're like, who am I right now? Well, and especially with it being triplets, where I was like, what am I going to do with myself right now? But one thing I knew was I didn't want to continue teaching. I still pursued the interpretation. I went on to become a court certified interpreter. I still have that certification, but I knew that that's not what I wanted to do anymore. It was just a safe thing, I've built this, I know this works, and I'm good at this.
Yeah.
I want to do that. I had this desire to actually mentor and mentor women. I think it stemmed from my desire of being empowered myself, having somebody encourage and empower me.
Yeah.
I felt empowered when I was encouraging other women too, especially in the business building process. But I feel like as I developed my business and started speaking and, published my book, all these different pieces, it became really clear to me that I have a gift in terms of helping people share their voice as well as I share mine. It's very meta. So and I actually get reminded of this every time I'm starting with a new client, honestly. And they're like, nothing to say. I am so confused. I just had a call with a new client this morning. She's a bookkeeper and she's like, I don't even know where to start. And she's shy. She's like, I want to be, hiding behind whatever.
Yeah.
And then stopped talking. And I was like, oh my gosh, you have so much material and you're funny. So this is the best part for me.
Yeah, definitely. And I can relate, having been a client of yours, it was just incredible, working with you, and you have this beautiful ability to be able to see things in people that we have trouble seeing in ourselves, like our potential. And so I think that's amazing that you're such a light in that way. And in your TED Talk that you did, you talked about so many beautiful things, like being a twin mom, but you also talked about a defeat that you faced in your own life. And how did that end up being a doorway for you to something bigger?
Yes, I feel like from the moment I decided to marry my American husband and move to the U.S., that was the moment where I started experiencing a lot of hardship because it was adult life, I had, in many ways, a sheltered life. My parents had made it pretty well for themselves with their profession and my dad's business. I had everything that I needed, honestly, and something in me wanted to kind of start from scratch and do my own thing instead of being like, I got it all, great, I'll just stay here. I guess it's just part of my makeup and who I am, where I wanted to start fresh, far away in a different country with somebody that I didn't know that well because we dated long distance for so long. Yeah. And that's when I started experiencing failure. I think that's what I was looking for, to be honest. I wanted to experience something difficult, kind of see what I was made of. And boy, did I experience hardship, like talking about having to do my own laundry and cleaning the house and cooking for me and for my husband. Like, it was such a different world from where I had come from. And then add in a different culture, and then add in having triplets, when I was just wanting one child. It was a goal. And then I'm blessed with 3 of them. And so having all of those episodes kind of back to back, such a short period of time once I launched myself, I realized I could go one of 2 ways. Just play the victim of, why did I do this? Let's go back to my parents' house, which was the last thing I would allow myself to do. Or be like, these are opportunities for me to, again, see what I'm made of, learn, and that's been my entire journey. And a lot of what I help clients with now is look back for the lessons. There's always a lesson, right? So that's the core of my TED Talk. And also, honestly, I think my personal life lesson is finding the lesson.
Yes, I love that. And I really love on your TED Talk, like the way that you opened it, just talking about how you were getting the ultrasound and you first found out that you were having triplets, which for anyone, is unfathomable, right? But to know that you didn't have your family, you just had, it was you and, like you said, your husband in a new country. I cannot imagine that. So how did motherhood reshape you and the way that you understand identity, ambition, and the permission women give themselves to be seen?
I didn't expect to get emotional, but I think my kids, they brought all of this out of me, when they came out.
Yes, I know.
I had to find that inside of me, otherwise I wouldn't make it.
Yeah.
And I always remember one of the first people that I told that I was pregnant with triplets was my sister. We were really close. And I always remember this, and I share this because she said, Marta, if anyone can do this, it's you.
Yeah.
And, and several people throughout the years say jokingly, oh, God knew I couldn't handle triplets, so that's why he gave you triplets. We will handle whatever is given to us, even if I hadn't asked for it. But it's like, sometimes I wonder, but I also know it's true that this is what had to happen for me, for the type of person that I am, to both increase the intensity, but also force me to slow down. It was all that had to happen for me to be who I was meant to be. I guess that's my answer.
For sure. No, that's a beautiful answer. It's divine and it's so relatable. As a mom, I feel that, especially, my story, and I live across the country from my family, but not in an entire different country, and with 2 kids and not 3 at the same time, so it's motherhood is beautiful in that way, that it just brings out a whole new level of capability within us that we never knew existed. So that is so relatable, and you're so strong, and I'm thankful for you using that passion and not getting intimidated about it. I'm happy that you didn't run back to Brazil, to your family in safety, right? Because you've helped so many other women through you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so for women, how do you define for your clients the difference between visibility that flatters the ego and visibility that actually creates trust, conversion, and leads?
That is a really good one, because I think I've played in both fields, and I've played a lot in the visibility for ego field. So I can speak to that and the differences. And I think it's easy to play in that field just as a human nature, but also with social media, when everyone is sharing in your face how everything is going so well and there are no problems. And this is where, like I was saying, I think my life lesson is to look for the lessons, because, and everybody has a different perspective on that, but to me, everything seemed to just take so long. Like, why is this such a treacherous road to success? And one piece is because people make it look like it's fast for them. It really is like the overnight success. It only took 20 years to get here type joke. It's also reality. But the other piece too is that there is a beauty in the journey of struggle to actually have something to show for. And I didn't want to have to go through that to have something to show for. I wanted it, and I wanted it now. And I would joke and say that when my dad handed me over at my wedding day, he said, the only word he said was patience. Wow. And I was offended. I was like, why do you think I need patience? But he knows me, and he knows, marriage and life. So now I look back and I was like, that's the best thing he could have told me. But to answer your question more specifically, I feel like the difference really lays in that, is in the patience, is in the day-to-day, because a lot of it is, I just want you to see me, and I just want you to praise me, but is that leading anywhere? Most often the ego one is not. It's not that it's bad, because it adds up, right? So giving a feature, taking the pictures, whatever it is that you're sharing, I don't think that those things are bad, but there is a time and place for things. That's what I didn't understand in my journey. So I sought all of those opportunities. I did like 10 plus TV segments in the local news here, and all of those are great opportunities. They sure look great on my website. But I will tell you firsthand, those things did not directly lead to business. I learned a lot, right? I mean, I know the behind the scenes of a TV studio. I connected with people in the media that are good friends right now. And it was interesting that even connecting with those people, and becoming good friends with an anchor, actually, she said, it's not as glamorous as it looks. Wow. Hear that from somebody that was in the business for decades, that looks glamorous, to say it's not as glamorous. It took me a long time to even get to the point where I saw these things and understood them, right? So I guess my 2 cents here in this is, most things that you think are glamorous are not. And that is a reality. It's not just because I'm saying it, it's because I've seen it and I've lived it. What really, really matters is the long run. And nobody wants to hear this now, right? So it's the long run. It's the keeping showing up. There's a Marta-ism that I keep repeating, that is, people will notice you if you don't go away. So sure, be visible, but are you willing to be visible for a long time? Because that's what makes the difference. And obviously, having a clear goal in mind. And I always like to equate it to, but are you getting clients out of this? Yes, you're helping people. You're being inspiring. That's what your business should be really created for, right? But I think that's the difference between the ego is, am I actually helping my business, which is helping people?
I love that. That's so important. And for someone who is like posting consistently, but they're still not converting, what are the first 3 things that you would audit like immediately?
I would say the messaging being clear. Like, what are you posting? Posting consistently is great, because some people don't even do it. So kudos to you. However, what is this content, and is it connected to what you want people to do? Right? So that's important. I would actually look at what they're doing, because saying you're doing it consistently doesn't mean much if we don't know what it is. The other thing is relationships. Are you just doing the infamous posting and ghosting? Are you connecting with these people in real life? Are you connecting with them individually, virtually? People even know who you are and what you do, because if you're just consistently posting, but you're not adding to your network, who is your network? Your family and your friends, then it's not going to work, you know? That's the other thing, like, what is the network? What is the content? And the third thing I would say is, how can you expand that
right beyond just the social media vacuum. Because it's interesting. Some people are so resistant to social media.
Yeah.
They're like, I can't. It's funny. Like when I speak in person, there's a lot of people that are like, I hate social media. But then when I'm speaking virtually, they most likely are okay with social media because that's how they got to see me there.
Yeah.
They're not doing the in-person work. So they need to understand that we need both. You need to be connecting with people in person too, because that builds trust. It builds your visibility and your credibility. So I guess the end, and I'm glad that you said 3 things and not one thing, because it's never one thing.
Yeah.
It's a combination of many things.
No, I love that. I love that so much. And like when you're working and coaching with women, like what patterns do you see in women who clearly have expertise, but like they still hesitate to pitch themselves for stages, podcast, or media?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is what I mentioned before. They think they don't have something valuable to say, which is wild, because if you have a business, and that's when you know it's a mindset thing, right? I'll just use the example of this client that I just started with today, because she said something, and I was like, wow, that's actually really telling, because she opened the call saying, I just have this nagging thought that I don't have something to say that people will actually be interested in. I find myself when I'm presenting, like doing my elevator pitch and networking groups, I just want to get it over with. And I was like, how? That is it. So it's not so much that you don't have something valuable. That's not true. Otherwise you wouldn't have a business, right? It's that you don't want to be put on the spot. Like there's different layers to this. So that's a common theme as well. It's like, it's deeper. And that's why I love what I do, because even though I'm not advertising it, let's handle your insecurities. Like that's not what I open with. That's not how I land clients. I land clients with, let's work on your content. However, in order to do that, we're going to have to overcome that and deal with that. But then the other piece that shows up a lot is they don't know what to lead with. What actually is important? What do people actually care about? Is this interesting enough? You know? And that's super normal because you can't see, you're so close to it. It takes somebody from outside of yourself to give you input and feedback. And we don't need that, whether it be a friend, a family member, another entrepreneur, which I think is probably more helpful than family because they understand the world a little bit better, but especially having a mentor that understands the industry or the ins and outs, you know, of business. But I think it's just being open to get out of your head and putting this out there so that you can make more sense of it and organize it.
Yes, definitely. And you're so great at doing that. You did that for me in so many ways. And I love how, you know, the coaching that you provide too, not only do you help the woman, but you also allow us to have like the community component where we can get feedback from other people and like improve our work in that way as well. So just so grateful for you. And again, the light that you are. Thank you so much for sharing your time. And like the last question, I just want to give you an opportunity to share if there's anything you're looking forward to, ahead of, you know, for your business and for you. And then also just curious, I always ask people this on the podcast, what does legacy mean to you as well?
Okay. Well, I actually think that my first answer has a lot to do with the second answer or the second question. So I've been supporting women for the last few years in different capacities, but especially with speaking. And for a while, the focus was one-on-one. Then I realized I could have a whole lot more impact if I created the community, which you got to experience. And I'm happy to hear that you experienced what I wanted you to experience, which is seeing other people go through the same thing and share and support each other and all of that, because it's you know, we don't grow in a vacuum. And sometimes working one-on-one can feel a little bit isolating because you're just getting perspective from one person. So I've loved that. And now I've reached a point where I'm looking into hiring a support coach. So somebody that is going to add the element of accountability, because a lot of the work is self-motivated, right? I give you the steps, but you have to be the one that works on your talk, that records your talk, that creates your speaker page, right? That starts pitching yourself or delegate it to somebody else. And usually the people that get stuck are the ones that lack in the follow through. And I can't do it for you, but implementing other accountability systems can help the people that are actually willing to do the work. They're just feeling a little stuck.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's how I see me
creating more of this legacy. And thank you so much for what you said. I had never thought of it that way. So I'm going to walk away with this today. Thank you for not going back to Brazil. That was so sweet. Because I hadn't thought of it that way. Because I think, I got to do this, my business, and fulfill this desire, but I wouldn't have been able to meet the people that I've supported, right? Supported them. So when I think of legacy, that's it. Like, I want to expand this opportunity to more women, to organizing their thoughts, to sharing their story, to feeling confident that they have something valuable to say.
Thank you. Well, you've done that for me and so much more. So thank you again. Thank you for just everything that you are. And also, please tell everybody how they can connect with you and learn more about your services.
Yes, absolutely. So you can find me anywhere. I am pretty visible. I've worked on that in the last several years. But Marta Spirk, there's only me that I know of. MartaSpirk.com. I have my podcast, The Empowered Woman, which Charity is going to be a guest. I'm so excited to have you. I have my book out on Amazon called The Empowered Woman as well. And on my website, you can find information about how to work with me, schedule a discovery call. We can talk about your speaking and your visibility journey, and you can learn more about the program that way.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Marta Spirk. Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure to have you on the Heart Next Door podcast, and everyone else, we'll see you next time on the Heart Next Door.